Over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to be telling you how much I learned over the course of 2 years during the Masters of Education program. But before I start, what I'd like to do is I'd like to acknowledge that I am an uninvited guest on the unceded land of the Coast Salish people, which includes the territories of the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh. And as a settler, I acknowledge that I've benefited from living on this land. In this presentation, I will show you how much I've learned by using a metaphor of a banyan tree. So a banyan tree is also known as a strangling fig tree, and it has unique roots that descend from the branches and creates a continuous cycle of germination and regrowth, a bit like my garden here. So why am I telling you all this? Well, I've used a banyan tree, however you want to pronounce it. I've used this as a metaphor for my reflection and growth and transformation over the last 2 years. So in the next several minutes, what I'll be doing, I'll show you how I have crystallized the knowledge I've gained over the last 2 years during our MED program. I've decided to use the banyan tree because I'm going to explain this diagram to you, and I'm going to explain it from the roots and soil to the top of the tree. In my opinion, every educator should ask the important question, what do I believe and why? And how did I get to this point? It's an important question because all your teaching decisions are influenced by your values and beliefs. And basically they are the foundation. And you can see this on my tree. I have depicted this as the educator identity. The educator identity root nourishes the tree, but it also draws from the river of inquiry, which has become a underground water kind of river now. But to get to this teacher identity, you need to use reflexive and reflective methods to create sort of like a self-portrait of yourself. So writing a autoethnography gives you insights into the larger culture and subcultures that you're part of. If you look at the figure here from Dr. Michael, ruminating about the tensions between the values and beliefs and the settings and our practice, our daily practice, is an excellent method of investigation while you're reflecting. Brookfield stated that recognizing the discrepancy between what is and what should be is often the beginning of a critical journey. I want you to look at the complex root system at the bottom right of my tree here. And this area is called Tensions, Power and Politics in the Education System. And this has a big part of influencing my educator identity. So down here I have Karen Egan, and I'll just give you one example here of the tensions in the education system. For example, is it the job of a school to socialize students, to homogenize them, make them useful members of society and to pass on values and norms? Or is it, as set out by Rousseau in his book in 1762, Emile, I think the name of the book is, he said we should hold society at bay because it is a massive folly. So basically, Rousseau views education and the role of education as to protect a child and not change them. So there is one warring incompatibility right there. So the idea of not trying to accelerate a child's development is in contradiction to wanting to socialize them into society and get them to be ready to be useful members of society. Plato also reminds us to question, but this can't be done in a system where we want them ready to be integrated into society. Them, I'm talking about students. If you look on my tree, we've only scratched the surface here, and I haven't even talked about all the power and politics. Don't get me going with this one. But you can see underneath my educator identity, I have humanism, and you should know about this, because deep inside, I feel that it's my place to put humanity back into education. So pretty much treating students or anyone I come into contact with like humans rather than objects. And that's what's needed, I think. But you can see on the left here, we have constructivism and experiential education. We haven't even talked about that part of the soil, and we haven't even got up into the tree yet. And we can talk about this later on. But I put constructivism in there because for me, learning is a process of constructing meaning rather than receiving knowledge. And this all sort of connects to Kolb's experiential learning and transformative education. So my philosophy is very heavily influenced by Paulo Freire and John Dewey and Maria Montessori as well. So the common theme with all of this and transformative education is the self-reflection, self-examination. It's about educating a reflective, democratic citizen. Dewey was all about that. Also, the education should be student-centered or child-led if you are Maria Montessori. Social justice is a big part of my philosophy as well, and the construction of knowledge, social construction of knowledge, and also school to be used as a force for social reconstruction, as a way to fix things from what has happened before. And that's part of the reason why I put that acknowledgement at the start of this video, because it's part of my identity. The takeaway here is from this video is that basically teachers must know themselves before they try and educate others. And at the end of this learning journey over the 2 years, I realize now that I can meet the demands of a capitalist world while still making a difference in society, because I kind of know what's happening now and all the things that are happening in the background and how the system works. So I hope that I can stay in contact with my class over the years, over the next few years, and I'll finish up with this quote that I think pretty much encompasses everything I've talked about on this video. Have a good day.